Thanks for joining us today. Just a reminder that we love questions from the audience, so you can start commenting your questions now, or you can also add them as we go. I'll be right back on to welcome our guests to the show. Thanks for meeting us for coffee. Good morning. Thank you everyone for being here today. Actually, I think I should say good afternoon. I always have this show in the mornings, but it's going to be afternoon. So I'm also just going to go ahead and put a disclaimer out there right now that I'm hopefully here listening in the comments if I'm not in labor or having a baby. But I had to ask my good friend Katie if we could go ahead and pre-record this one and release it for you guys, because as of today, as you're hearing this, I am like almost 39 weeks pregnant. So just in case, I wanted to get this done a little early for you guys so we wouldn't miss it entirely. That being said, I know a lot of you guys are used to the live format. If you guys want to pop your questions in the comments, we can absolutely still address them in the comments. I just can't address them verbally. So I didn't want to like pump fake anybody with that. So just giving you guys the heads up there. Hopefully I'll still be very pregnant and around watching the comments. Thank you so much for listening in. The purpose of this show today is to help anyone who is actually still on the fence considering Manifest decide if it's right for them, or help anyone who has already committed, even if you've done Manifest for multiple years already. If you're just wanting to make sure that you're like, we're going to make the most of this and we want to know what's new or what we can be doing to maximize our experience, I'm bringing in a professional to give you guys all of the good advice today. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring on my guest for the day, Miss Katie Date. Katie, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm excited to talk all things Manifest.
Me too. I'm a little like heartbroken actually, because this is my first miss for Manifest. Obviously you can't help the timing of having a baby, but I've been the last 3 years in a row. And so like bummed and having FOMO already, watching everyone post about, you know, I'm going to be attending Manifest and we'll be there, but I'm so excited to hear how it goes, see everybody's pictures, all the video recaps and everything that comes out of it.
Yeah, we're definitely bummed to not have you there. I still remember sitting at a table with you at the VIP dinner the year that I was
Yeah.
a speaker, and it was both of our first years and not really knowing what to expect. So sad
Yeah.
that you won't be there with us this year, but next year for sure.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about yourself and kind of your path to getting more involved and ultimately becoming, an employee of Connective, right? And the Manifest team. Because there's been, I mean, like you just said, when we first met at Manifest a few years ago, you were there as a speaker. I think I was there as a podcast and speaker. Like we were just attendees. So what's that journey been like for you?
Yeah, I always tell everyone I think I have the coolest story of how I made my way to Manifest. So in 2023, I was a keynote speaker at the women's lunch, talking at that time about the research that I had been doing at MIT around diversity and inclusion, and some of the supplier diversity research that I had done during the pandemic while at the MIT Center for Transportation and Logistics. And at that point, Manifest was small. It was, year two, around 1,000 people. And I immediately saw the magic and I saw the potential of what it could be. And people always talk about these like serendipity conversations that they have that change the complete course of their career. And it just happened that we were backstage, and Courtney, the president of Manifest, was just asking me, like, what's next? What are you going to do next? And I was like, I don't know. I'm, kind of looking for, ways to challenge myself in new ways. And she's like, well, would you ever consider coming and working with us? We're looking for someone who can, come in and be a subject matter expert and really, add to the already amazing team. She caught me at the right moment. And, almost 3 years later, here I am. I love it. I'm still very connected to industry. I get to work with, all my supply chain besties on a daily basis and really help to influence and, shape Manifest, which, in turn is shaping the industry. So now this year we're, going to approach 7,000
I was
plus
gonna say, so
attendees.
where are we now? Like we've come from
Yeah,
1,000 when we met to like what, somewhere in that ballpark, that
yeah. I
5,000 to
mean,
1,000 range.
yeah, we should surpass 7,000 attendees this year,
Oh,
which is just mind blowing. Over 400 speakers. The expo hall has come a long way from its days at the Paris, which was the first year, and then at Caesar's Forum, and now we're at this beautiful, space that events only dream of being in at the Venetian. And this year we're taking up more space.
wow.
In the Venetian. So make sure everyone out there that is attending, bring your walking shoes, because from
Mhm.
your hotel room to the expo hall floor is a mile walk. So you're going to get your steps in, but that just means you get to eat more delicious food
Yeah, it's true.
that is all over
You
the
work up an appetite at this conference because 'cause you're on your
yeah,
feet and walking around all day.
yeah, totally.
Well, absolutely. So, I mean, it's been so fun to watch. I missed the very first year of Manifest. I never went at Paris. The first year I attended was at Caesars, and then I've been,
Yep.
the last couple years. So I've watched it grow too. It gets bigger every year. It's getting bigger this year. And the growth is such a positive for everyone attending because you have more chances to connect and network and have impactful conversations and meetings. But it also creates, some challenges too. Anytime you walk into a large building in a large city with 7,000 people, it's hard to find, the ones that you want to connect with. And so I think the other thing I'm really excited to talk to you about today is how can people who are saying like, okay, we we've been before, we're going again for sure, or the people who are jumping on board saying like, we don't want to miss this. We've heard so much about it. They're maybe attending for the first time. You guys every year put intentional effort into taking feedback and getting better at how people can connect, network, have a great experience. And so I want to hear from you. Just like, let's take some time to talk about how do we actually maximize an attendance at a conference this big? How do we make sure we're making the most of it?
Yeah. So the number one thing that's always been at the heart of this event from the very beginning is connection, both intentional connection through things like our app that you can set one-on-one meetings, but also through that organic connection. We create a lot of opportunities in the expo floor and throughout the space where you can connect with people just by chance. Maybe you're sitting in the puppy lounge and enjoying all the beautiful puppies, and the person next to you, maybe they're a chief supply chain officer, but they love puppies, and it's a great opportunity to kind of catch people when they're not like in super business mode. To have conversations. Some of the best connections that I've made at Manifest have been, waiting in line to get a mocktail, or, in the women's bathroom, to be very honest.
Yeah.
There's so many different opportunities to connect, both intentionally and by chance, that I always really, really encourage people before you get on the plane to come to Manifest, or maybe on the plane on the way there. Make your plan. Set 3 goals that you want to achieve while you're at Manifest, and make sure that you have a plan in place to achieve those goals. Maybe it's, you're looking for new tech. Maybe it's you're looking to, connect with a certain kind of person. Make sure that you do your homework ahead of time. Because like you, the biggest complaint that I hear is, oh, Manifest is so overwhelming. It's getting so big. Like, yes, but we've laid it out in a way that is very, very intentional to not be overwhelming. It's really laid out to have lots of different areas for connection. And so you
Yeah.
just have to capitalize on it. It's all about, we were talking about this earlier. What you put into it is what you're going to get out of it.
Absolutely. And so I am a revenue and brand consultant. And so I have 3 of my current customers are attending Manifest. And so this is something we've already been talking about and prepping for now for weeks. And so if you guys are listening and you're like, prepping, like, what do you have to prep? Like, I would love to share just like some very easy examples.
Yeah.
Number one would be that the app released last week. So if you guys haven't downloaded the Manifest app, you need to do that, because inside of the app, you can actually already start building like your schedule. You can look at all the other attendees. You can start connecting and sending networking requests to other attendees. And so the app is just like I could not navigate this conference without the app. So it's such a crucial part of your attendance. And the sooner you get in it, get familiar with it, start looking at what it has to offer, like the better off you're going to be. Katie, do you have anything else to add, like specifically about what you can do in the app?
Yeah, absolutely. So, both in the app and on our website, you'll be able to see all of the different sessions, the different speakers that are going to be there. And so, for people that are looking to meet people in certain industries, or certain people, do your homework. Look on LinkedIn. Not only targeting the speaker, but you have to consider, like, if you're interested in this topic and this person's speaking on it, there's probably like-minded people that are also going to be in the audience. So capitalize on the people that are around you. Don't be the person that just, sits down in the session and closes off, maybe opens up your laptop. Introduce yourself to the people that are sitting around you. You're going to be in a room with them for, 30 minutes. Introduce yourself, and who knows who you're going to meet. I really, really
I always love
encourage
listening to the
people.
people who ask questions in sessions.
Yeah.
Who are
Yeah.
like, because like I hear someone ask a question, I'm like, that's a really good question. And I'm like, I wonder what they do. Or like, they
Yep.
obviously have like an interest in the same thing that I find interesting. So I always try to like pay attention and find those people like after sessions too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yes, so you're planning your schedule is one thing. I actually think, if I'm remembering correctly, in years past, I'm one of those people who like lives and dies by my Google Calendar on my phone, and the app can sync to your, whether it's Outlook or Google Calendar. And so if you're like planning to attend certain sessions in the app, you can add them to your schedule, or you can add networking meetings and like meetups with people in the app. It can all sync back to your Google Outlook calendar, because you probably also have things going on, like you might have meetings set up with clients already that you're coordinating over your email. So it can all like end up merging into one pretty schedule to keep you on time and on track. So definitely look into like taking advantage of syncing that to your business calendar too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always tell people to schedule some organic networking time into your calendar as well. You know, post up and have a coffee outside of, one of the coffee stations, or, sit yourself down outside the expo hall. You'll never imagine like who you'll meet just sitting and being intentional in one spot. I see so many people that like want to run around the expo hall and they want to see every little, every single thing. It's like, just pause for a moment. Like it's good for your mental health, but it's also going to be good for your connection as well, because you never know who you're gonna come across.
Yeah, and check out the areas of networking like you mentioned in the expo hall. Also, something that I love to tell people, I don't know, is it back this year? Is someone doing a headshot booth?
Yes, no,
Yeah,
definitely
get a
100%.
professional headshot. If you don't
Yeah,
have a
he's
professional
good.
headshot for your LinkedIn, for your, Outlook picture, your signature, whatever it is, things like that like think about how many people would, want to do and be a part of those things. So, take advantage of what the show has to offer you too, for things that, you're going to get that sent over to you and you can use that leaving the show. So, definitely just make sure you're fully taking advantage of all the things that are available and networking opportunities that are on the conference floor. Now, last year, I remember standing in front of I don't remember what it was called, like a one-on-one meeting zone or something like that, where there was like circles on the floor and they had numbers on them, I think, and you
Yeah.
got to like in the app you could say meet me at spot 57 and you could reserve it, and it was just for like you guys to have like a 15-minute connect, introduce, say hi, meet people. When you're reaching out to people that you want to connect with, everybody has busy conference schedules and it's hard to be like, can I take you to lunch, or can I ask for a 30-minute sit down meeting in a meeting room? But like being able to just casually connect between sessions for 15 minutes even, and shaking hands and saying hi is like a much less aggressive ask, and it seems easier
Yeah.
and more casual. And so I always recommend that to people, like take advantage of that, and maybe kind of change expectations going into a conference. Like we don't have to have a sit down 30-minute 1 hour meeting to make an impact. Like we need to be able to get to know someone and shake a hand and be able to follow up later, but like make a positive impression and a positive connection with people. And so I think that like the meeting zones and the way the app allows you to do that is definitely like one of my number one recommendations when you are considering how to connect with people. Like everybody's busy, everybody wants to have fun and enjoy the time and all the events and do all the things. Like let's ask for 15 minutes instead of an hour of someone's time.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that goes back to your point of doing your homework. The ability to book that time is available in the app right now.
Yeah.
So I always encourage people, go in now and, make your connections and get that on people's calendars now, because they're going to fill up. And, like you said, it's a lot easier to ask for that 15 minutes than it is, there's only a few lunches that are
Yeah.
open.
Yeah.
But if you can, from their perspective too, if you can go and you can meet four people in the course of, one, what would have been a 1 hour lunch, like that's max productivity, and that's what we're
Mm-hmm.
all about, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also I would just, as a bit of sales advice, um, get really good at very clearly explaining who you are and what you do in just a couple sentences. So when you ask for people's time, they know why you're asking for their time. That's another thing I see a lot. Like I've received a lot of those requests, like, hey Smith, I'd love to meet you. Would you like to meet? And I'm like, I don't know, because like if I have 7,000 people I'm trying to meet, like I need to know how to just be smart with my time, and I need to know who you are, what you do, and why we should connect. And so you guys have to figure out how to like succinctly put that into your connection messages.
Yep. Clear proposition, right? Even in the subject, just making sure that they know who it's coming from and what your intention is.
Yeah. And I mean, like that's what conferences are all about. They're about learning and they're about connection and networking. And so like, but both of them, we have to plan around. Like we have to know what we're going to learn, find the sessions. We have to know who we want to connect and network with, and then be intentional about, reaching out to those people. So the more we talk about it, the more I'm like, cannot stress enough that like you guys really couldn't start your prep too soon at this point.
No.
So please start thinking about it and looking at what all is out there.
Yeah. And the prep helps if you're an introvert too. I get a lot of introverts that will come to me and they'll say like, I'm not good at networking. And it's like, well, this, lays it out for you and it makes it a lot less intimidating. So
absolutely. Katie, is there anything new this year that's like, what's new? What's changed from last year that people can look forward to?
So I'm super excited. Going back to your point about we take people's feedback very seriously. One point of feedback that we had gotten last year and even a little bit the year before was that there wasn't a good cold chain representation. Like the future of our industry is very based on cold chain, whether it's in food or it's in life sciences or specifically in pharmaceuticals. That audience felt like we weren't serving them. And my goal is to make sure that we're serving the end-to-end supply chain and nobody feels like they're not served. So I'm very excited to share that we have a whole cold chain pavilion this year. So dedicated content sessions that are happening around cold chain, a dedicated area where cold chain solution providers can exhibit the newest technologies. We have people in the startup space that will be sharing on the cold chain space. If you are in this space, it's the perfect place to go to knock out like all of the things on your list, because you'll meet like-minded people that will be on stage. If you're a shipper, you'll meet other solution providers that are trying to solve the meaty challenges that are in this space. Sure. And you'll meet entrepreneurs who are stretching the limits and doing what Manifest really is all about. It's looking at the future of supply chain and logistics and really, putting their best effort out there to address it and taking risks.
I think that talking about the cold chain and how you guys are like catering to, those audience members makes me think of like kind of a more broader topic, in the sense that Manifest is kind of like small conferences combined in one almost, because like if you're specifically focused on cold chain, like there are tracks for you, there are exhibits for you, there are spaces for you. And if you're specifically focused on like warehousing and distribution, there are all sorts of like warehousing technologies and things like that. And then you have all of your like logistics and trucking and transportation folks, and there are tracks for that, and there are exhibitors for that, and there are solutions for that. So something I've noticed is that companies tend to send like a diverse group of their employees. Especially, I think I've seen this kind of on the shipper side. Like they'll send someone from transportation and logistics. They'll send someone from distribution. They'll send someone from, warehousing or procurement, because like, unless you have superpowers and can be a million places at once, it'd be really hard to like take in all of the things that affect your business. So kind of bringing a stakeholder representative from each like portion of your supply chain internally, or the services you offer. Like if you're a broker and you have like a warehousing and distribution arm and your, brokerage and transportation arm, like having someone who can represent both of those and go to those tracks, separate tracks, and like learn and network and connect, I would definitely recommend.
Yeah. And a lot of teams have really found the value in attending. And we've started to your point about shippers, we've started to offer special incentives and benefits for companies that bring teams. And, companies like Pepsi have been a huge proponent of bringing teams from the very beginning. We've started to integrate options into our app for teams, so that if you're a service provider and you're requesting a meeting from Pepsi, and maybe you serve like warehousing, and you serve you have a transportation option within your solution. If you have multiple different options and you have multiple different stakeholders within an organization, it can be combined into one meeting. So everyone, for
Cool.
example, at Pepsi has visibility to those meeting requests, and so it's helping our sponsors be more efficient with their time, but more importantly, it's helping shippers be more efficient with their time so that they can meet with more people.
Yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
really it's a win-win. So any company that isn't bringing a team, and I've talked to you will have heard it, the true benefit of bringing a team, because especially in this remote world where people are all over the place, Manifest is a great opportunity to yes, get business done, but bring your team together. I can't tell you how many of these companies are like, oh, this is the first time I've ever met my colleague, who's based in
Yeah,
Boston, and I'm based in San Jose. And it's a win-win for the company, and they're able to use it as kind of professional development and team building, but also getting business done and seeing all the latest tech.
I can definitely attest to that. When I used to work in, previous corporations, like sometimes I got to see people at conferences that I just wouldn't otherwise see. I mean, we weren't even in the same region. So even like a regional meeting wouldn't pull you in, right, to the same in-person group. So it was a lot of fun to be able to build up your network, your internal network, and, create stronger partnerships and collaboration too. So, I mean, for companies bringing teams, that's always just like an added benefit that comes with the conference.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else new this year that we need to be aware of?
We have more procurement content. Again, going back to the feedback that we've gotten from people. So I think like maybe the number one takeaway, if you are attending this year, do your planning, but then at the end of the conference, give your feedback.
Mhm.
I know that a lot of events will ask for your feedback, but we actually want it. Like, we believe that feedback is a gift, and we read every single survey that comes back, and we take it seriously. And so if we get a lot of feedback, maybe next year it's not just a cold chain pavilion, maybe it's an AI pavilion, or maybe it's a sustainability, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
we listen to people, and because we want this to be the event that really represents the entire industry and brings everyone together.
Hmm. There is another women's luncheon, right? This year, the women's lunch.
Yeah.
Um, Question, is the women's lunch only for women?
Absolutely not. We really, really encourage everyone to come to the women's lunch, and to enjoy the speakers. In fact, Courtney, who's our president, will be sending out an invitation to everyone to attend the lunch, because truly, the purpose of the women's lunch is, to help women have more of a place in the supply chain. But this is everyone together, so we need the allies in men to be there, because we're all in this
Yeah.
together. So
Last year, I remember I was talking to a couple of gentlemen that I knew right before lunch. And I was like, gotta go. It's the women lunch. Are you coming? And they were like, no, that's only for women, right? And I was like, no. So
no,
I wanted to make sure
it's
everybody knows
yeah, it
that you
is
guys can
it is
all be
for
there.
everyone. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
last year, we had Mike from Mary Kay
Mhm.
on the stage. So we're
Yeah.
we're also bringing men to the stage as well. So be on the lookout for the invitation to the lunch, announcing all of the speakers and everything that
Yeah.
we'll be talking about.
And guys, there's also just so many more like fun ways to enjoy the conference and get connected and involved. I believe there's like some Super Bowl tickets or something being given away. Is that what it is? Or is it
So
the World
it's
Cup?
the it's yeah, this year it's not the Super Bowl. This year it's the big game giveaway is what we call it every year. And this year I believe it will be for the World Cup,
Yeah,
which is
I think so.
coming to the US. And
So there's
hot
like
tickets.
ways if once you get registered, you'll start getting the emails and the promotions. And then when you're on site, there's ways to like, do certain things to get more entries and
Yep.
just like,
Visit the
mhm,
sponsors.
mhm.
That'll get you more entries. You can get entries online. But
Yeah,
you have
all sorts
to
of fun stuff. Just
check it out.
I think the little bonus things like make it fun when you're at a conference. And
Yeah.
I was recently at a conference and they had like a challenge where like everything you did certain things, you got points on the leaderboard and like you could get prizes. And unfortunately I was podcasting, so I was kind of like stuck
Yeah.
at my area for a lot of the show, couldn't do that much, but I thought it was so fun because there was like a running like leaderboard of who was like checking off the things, and I was like, my competitive nature was trying to get the best of me.
Yeah. The
But
gamification of everything.
yeah, especially us like salespeople will fall for it every time.
Yeah.
um okay, well, any last words of wisdom or advice? Have we covered everything we need to cover today?
Yeah, I mean, do your prep. I think we've you know we've covered that one a lot. Wear comfortable shoes, ladies included. Bring your heels in your bag for the seminal moments, but don't be trying to walk 10 miles a day in your heels. Wear
Agreed.
what makes you feel confident. So many people ask me like, oh, what's the dress code? Honestly, the dress code is what makes you feel like your best self. Obviously, you need to be fully clothed, but
Please.
please. But if a polo shirt and a khakis makes you feel like your best self, then wear it. If a full suit makes you feel like your best self and you're comfortable in it, then wear it. I will say, gentlemen, not very many people wear ties, but again, if it makes you feel like your best self.
I need to go through my picture archives from last year because it's also Vegas. So I know some people, we like couldn't resist just the ability to have fun. So I wore like this electric yellow like suit, and I have a picture with Patrick McFarland, I think. Shout out to Patrick from ITS in like his
Yeah.
sequin gold
Oh yeah.
blazer. And so it's like you can I don't know. If you like making your fashion statements, this is the show for you because you'll see
100%.
everything. It's Vegas. It's tons of fun. So I
And don't miss
definitely
the after party.
yes.
Speaking
Okay,
of
so
fashion, speaking of fashion.
um after party is on the last day of the conference, last
Yep.
evening of the conference. Tayo
Yep.
Cruz, I believe, this year.
At the Brooklyn Bowl, and
Okay.
it is your Vegas best. So you will
Yeah,
see sequins, you will see sparkles, you will see neon,
that's
you'll
so fun.
see super short, super long,
You're
and
you're reminding me of all the fun I'm gonna miss out on, but that's it's okay. We'll be back.
yeah. But it's a
Um,
great networking opportunity also.
okay, so everyone, if anyone is listening and you have not already registered, you're not out of time. You can register
No.
all the way up to being on-site registration.
Yeah.
However, prices are increasing on January 23rd. And so this is your last chance to kind of save yourself some money on your registration. Also, the Meet Me for Coffee podcast, thanks to our amazing partnership with Manifest, can save you guys $200 additional dollars if you guys use our discount code. It's in the comments here of the show. It's also like saved on my profile in like a few different places. So just all you have to do is click the link and it automatically applies your $200 discount when you go to register. So
200 more
don't
dollars to gamble with in Vegas, right?
exactly, exactly. Don't miss your chance. Katie, thank you so much for coming on today. I mean, I really think that like one, you're a testament to how special this conference is because you came, experienced it, saw the potential, decided to be a part of it and have helped it grow. And it sounds like you're enjoying every bit of it.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the experience that a lot of us who have gone for multiple years can also like attest to is every year we keep finding more ways to make make it impactful and to enjoy the show. And so definitely just one that a lot of us look forward to every year.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll miss you this year, but we hope to see you back next year. And everyone in the audience, I hope to see you there, because otherwise the FOMO is going to be real. I mean, at this point,
Absolutely.
like, just do it. Just come. You'll
Don't
have a
miss
great
it.
time. Yeah.
Absolutely. If you guys have any other questions, or as you're thinking about it, you're like needing to know certain, specifics or information, definitely can just tag myself or Katie in the comments here. You could shoot us a message on LinkedIn. Katie's probably getting lots of messages and emails right now as it gets closer to time. So she's still happy to help you out, but like I'm also around, hopefully, for a couple more weeks. And so happy to help too. Just give it, advice, let you know who you can connect with. Either Katie or I can get you connected with people at Manifest if it's something specific that's like outside
Yep.
of our particular scope. But start
Absolutely. And
planning now.
if you're on the fence, I've had a lot of conversations recently with people helping them
Yeah.
kind of plan their own adventure. So
Yeah.
don't hesitate to reach out to me if you're on the fence and just need like a little bit of help organizing and
We're like those like travel agents or like
yeah,
planning agents.
exactly.
You want to make the most of a great vacation? Well, if you want to make the most of a great conference, reach out to Katie or myself, and we're happy to
Absolutely.
give some advice.
Yeah.
Well, Katie, thank you so much for being here again today. I enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you.
And thanks everyone for listening in. And hopefully, Katie will be seeing you on site at Manifest, and I'll be seeing your pictures as you're posting them from Manifest. Bye, guys.